Welcome back to another week of the Moore Army podcast. Hope everybody out there has had a great week since the last time we spoke to you, is last Thursday, which was on the Unleashed episode, or since last Tuesday, which was the first ever episode of the Moore Army podcast, which was the family friendly one. If you want to go and check out both those episodes, they are available here on iTunes, which is now as at Apple Music, also Spotify. Also, if you're listening to us here on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you for all your support, and the numbers are very, very good after the first week's podcast, so thank you very much for all your support over the last week. And don't forget, if you haven't checked them out yet, go and check them out, guys. I would appreciate it. Welcome back to another episode of the Moore Army podcast. Last week has just flew in so quickly. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well out there. I have to behave myself in this podcast today because obviously it's the family friendly version. I tried to get one of the kids to come on this week again, and unfortunately they are both either too tired, too grumpy, or they can't be asked. That's just being honest. I was going to get Lewis to come on to it today, but he's come in tonight from football completely busted. He's went to bed early tonight. And Brooke apparently preferred to do a pamper night than sit and talk with her dad for half an hour for the sake of the podcast. So, yes, I'm on my own once again, guys, shooting from the hip. Before I get any further into the podcast on this episode, I just want to clear up some of the housekeeping, as I like to call it. Guys, you want to follow us here on the podcast, you can certainly do it by getting in touch with us the following ways. You can send us an email, which a lot of you have done, and I want to answer a few of the emails on this episode, which you can email us at moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, if you want to check out our website, which is moorearmy.co.uk, which you can get all your merch. Also, watch all the vlogs from our YouTube channel, the Moore Army YouTube channel. Also, you can check out Redmen Football Adventures, which is our football channel, where we go to Liverpool games. We also travel around the country, do a series called the Irish League Series, which we go to all the different grounds around the country, which is a small documentary series. You can get all your merch, as I said to you there. We've also released Moore Army podcast merch this past week as well. Plus, you can drop us a mail and stuff like that on there as well. Check out all our social media posts. You can check out all the pictures and stuff on there as well. So that's moorearmy.co.uk. Also, if you want to check us out on social media, you can follow myself on Instagram, which is at official Matthew Moore. You can also check out the Moore Army Facebook page, which you just type in Moore Army YouTube channel, and you'll find it on there. You'll find all the podcasts and all the vlogs and things like that there. If you want to follow that page as well, guys, I would appreciate it. Anyway, last time I spoke to you is last Thursday. Had a bit of a cold, which was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's cleared up a little bit. But just these last couple of days, I've had a wee bit of a tickly cough towards the end of my cold, and it's actually became very, very irritating, especially these last 2 days or so. And before anybody asks, no, it's not COVID. It's just a cold I had. I found it quite difficult to record the podcast last Thursday, which was okay. I had tea and coffee with me, so it wasn't too bad. I'm sitting here. I've just literally sat down here to record the podcast this evening, and I've just realised that I forgot to bring my water with me. I've been drinking quite a lot of water over the last few days. So if you hear me occasionally trying to clear my throat, that's the reason why. Or maybe just push the pause button and go and get myself a bottle of water at some point, so depending on how my throat holds out after all the talking here. But anyway, coming up on this Thursday's podcast, I've got a special feature which I'm going to tell you a few stories about myself growing up in Belfast and also here in Bangor. I've told a bit of the stories on the YouTube channel, but I want to sit down and talk more about it because people have asked me, what was your upbringing like? Where we, what was it like living where you lived and things like that there. So I'm going to tell a few stories about that. And I've got a couple of more subjects I want to talk about on the podcast this coming Thursday, which will be the Unleashed version. So, which I can say more, be more open and honest compared to what I can be more restricted on the Tuesday episode. So, stay tuned for Thursday's podcast coming up here at the Mirror Army podcast. But anyway, what have I been up to since the last week or so? My goodness, what a week it's been. Lewis was a happy boy last Thursday morning. His favourite wrestling tag team became champions. He woke up on Thursday morning all excited and happy when he saw his boys win the belts. I know obviously there's a lot of listeners out there who don't watch wrestling, but Lewis is a happy boy. What else have been up to this week? We were at football on Friday night, which was another disappointing night for Lewis and I. We got beaten once again. The Hardwick Builders got beat again. Still no new manager coming in, but it will be actually announced tonight, Tuesday, as this podcast is released. Because we're heading to football. This is released on Tuesday, so it'll be tonight. We're heading to the football tonight to going to interview the new manager, photo shoot, whole big press release for the new manager being released. News of the manager being released, which will be interesting to see who gets the job. I've had a few names I've been hearing who's going to get the job, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, back to Friday night. My God, do you know something? The weather is starting to drop. You can feel it now whenever you're at night time. I mean, for example, before I turned the machine on here tonight to record the podcast, I went outside to go to put some stuff in the bin. My good God, you can feel the cold coming in. It's the winter coming in now. And this whole cost of living thing going on at the minute as well. A lot of people are complaining that they're trying to avoid putting their heating on as much as they can. So it's going to be a difficult winter, should we say, especially with the cost of heating, which is a flipping nightmare. But yeah, back to football Friday night. Bloody freezing it was. Went up there it was actually not too bad when I got there. The sun was out. It was a nice clear night. And then when it came around to kick-off time, the temperature just completely dropped and it was freezing. God love poor Lewis. He was standing at the side of the pitch taking his photographs. And he came over at half-time saying he was obviously starting to feel the cold. And then he came over at full-time. He was shivering. He was that cold. So I have to take him out here before next Saturday's game coming up. Get him a pair of those gloves we can use as a photographer as well. So to try and get him a pair of those. Anybody out there know where can get decent gloves like that for photographers? Drop us a mail or whatever. Get in contact with me if you want to let me know. I'm trying to get him some decent stuff. I also have to go out and get myself bits and bobs from my cameras this week as well. So it was a cold night on Friday night, let's just say. And I want to say thanks to everybody who came up and said hello to us. Now, Ballinamallard didn't bring very many supporters up with him, but a couple of them did recognise me, obviously from Welders TV, from the Mirror Army YouTube channel and stuff like that. So big thanks to all the people from Fermanagh. Fermanagh's a lovely place, guys. If you've ever been to Fermanagh, honestly, it's a beautiful part of Northern Ireland. You know, I've never really spent much time in Fermanagh, only around the Ballinamallard area where the football team is. But when you're going down there on the coach and you see all the open scenery, it's just a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. I mean, the countryside is just, it's a great place. And, you know, it's like, that's one of the pleasures Lewis and I have in this thing of football, where we get to travel all these different places across the country, the likes of the Castledergs and the Fermanaghs and, you know, all these different places we get to go to, countryside, beautiful scenery. You know, it's just a great pleasure to have that privilege to travel across the country every week and see all those lovely sceneries and see all those different quirky wee towns and, you know, all those different people you meet from different backgrounds and different walks of life and stuff like that. But Fermanagh, I've always found a beautiful place, and every time Lewis and I go to Ballinamallard, it's always been a great pleasure being down there, and their pitch down there is just absolutely stunning. They've got a beautiful, beautiful pitch, looked after well by local farmers and stuff like that. And their hospitality in Ballinamallard has always been very, very warm. And they've just been lovely, lovely people. And I've always enjoyed going to Ballinamallard. And they've got a great wee ground and the people are lovely. So, but unfortunately they took 3 points off us on Friday night, so it wasn't a good night for us. But hopefully now with this new manager coming in tonight, as we speak, this is released, fingers crossed it'll start changing. So hopefully we'll start getting some good results coming up in the next few weeks, because we're now sitting second from bottom of the table, which is a flipping nightmare. But yes, guys, it was kind of weird getting up on Saturday. No football on Saturday for Lewis now. It's weird because your body gets used to doing certain things at a certain time. Like, for example, if you have a job, you're always getting up in the morning, you have that routine Monday to Friday or whatever it is, 9 to 5, you're up every week, and then the weekends obviously yourself. But when you're off or whatever, your body's not used to being in that sort of scenario. But, you know, Saturdays is our day for football, where we always get up and go to football on the Saturday and then come home and, you know, last past Saturday there, we didn't have any football, so we took ourselves back to the Belfast Giants on Saturday night, went down and watched the Belfast Giants against Dundee Stars. Haven't been to ice hockey, first game this season. Big shout out to everybody who came up and said hello to us. It was great seeing all our old friends who sit behind us around our wee area where we always sit in our season tickets. Lovely wee couple behind us. Mary Beth and her husband, lovely couple. My friend who does the Chuck a Puck, God love him, Trevor. I think he's in his 80s, and he walks with two sticks, and he's always out there. Chuck a Puck thing is where you buy for £1 a rubber puck, and the mascot stands after the second period, stands in the middle of the ice, and they ask you to throw your puck onto the ice, and whoever gets closest to the mascot wins a free trip with Stena the sponsor, which obviously is boats. So you win a trip, I think it's to Scotland. You can also win tickets to another game. You can win a signed jersey, all these different things. Just be novelty things to do at the game to get the fans involved and things like that. So it was great being back at the hockey. You know, the Giants win in overtime, which was great. I put a vlog out in the channel if you want to go and check it out. Two particular fans stood out for me. I was playing pool with Lewis beforehand. Took Lewis in for some food before the game. Typical. He had a pizza, no sprays. Sam playing pool, and this young lad come up to me, Connor, I think. I'm about 99% sure his name is Connor, with his mum. Lovely kid, so well mannered and respectful. Said he's been watching us for a long time, and shook his hand. Did I take a picture with him? I think I did, yeah. Lovely kid. His mum sort of knew who we were, but didn't know who we were. But then mostly introduced myself to his mum, chatting away, stuff like that. Great, fantastic. And then on the way home, we met this other people. We met a girl with her son. His name is Anthony. Another great kid. I mentioned these two ones on the vlog as well, but I wanted to mention them on the podcast too because they were such great people. And we ended up getting on the train. They got off at Hollywood, heading back home. I was talking to the mum. She was telling me she's works in a care home, and she was telling me she's just got over COVID and she's still working in a care home. And I was telling her about the time when I worked in a care home. We're just chatting away and stuff, and her son was a lovely kid, so respectful. He said he'd been watching us for like 5 years, 6 years. So yeah, just those two stood out. But for anybody else who come up to us, just even to say hello or get a selfie or whatever, you know, that things like that, guys, just mean so much to us. You know, I've said this a million times on the vlog. You know, things like that. You know, stop for a couple of seconds, say hello to people. You want a selfie? Not a problem. Give you an example. I mean, there's about 2 weeks ago, Lewis and I were walking round to a local store, which is about half a mile away from here, where I live, and you know, we're just walking down past. Just down the road, basically, and these two kids were up and goes, "Hey, Matthew," I was like, yeah, can I get a selfie? Not a problem. You know, that things like that to me, you know, you see all these people who are on like YouTube and stuff like that and don't stop and don't talk to people and are rude and obnoxious, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, whether it's one person or 20 people or whatever, I'll always stop for someone, because at the end of the day, you know, you guys take your time out of our day to watch our vlogs, and you wouldn't even believe it, how much we appreciate it. You know, even if a vlog only gets 1,000 views or 2,000 views, or like our viral video is sitting at 6 million views, it doesn't matter to me. You know, at the end of the day, people click on our video to watch our video, and if they come up to us and say, "Hi, I watch you on YouTube, can I get a photo or can I say hello to you," or whatever, I'll always make time for someone. Unless you're a troll and you walk up and you're like, "Hey, Matthew." I've had plenty of those over the years, trust me. You know, and on the way home from the hockey on Saturday night, we were standing waiting on our taxi to pick us up, and there was a couple, I would say probably 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and you knew they were going to start. I was going to swear there, but I'm not going to, because I'm not on the Unleashed podcast. I keep forgetting myself from last Thursday. You know, you knew they were going to start something, but they didn't, because I've seen them before, and it's just things like that. I have no time for people like that. But for anybody who, like, for example, we go to the hockey, come up, and if you're listening to this podcast again, and you've seen us at hockey, like, for example, that wee lad Anthony, with his mum, said he saw us a load of times at the hockey, and he's either just missed us, or he didn't want to come up to us and say hello, whatever it was. You know, I've said to him, always come up and say hello. You know, I've always got time for people, whether, you know, I get people from all age generations. I've had even old age pensioners come up to me and say they watch me. I've even had people from football who are involved in our club who I didn't even know watched our videos. Like, for example, we got on the bus there last week, 2 weeks ago to go to Loughgall, and one of the older guys, he's probably in his like mid-60s, he's a follower of the club, and I think he's maybe wasn't the committee or something like that years ago. And he's, oh, I saw your video from such and such, and I'm looking at him going, you watch my videos? I was like, oh God, yeah, I watch them all the time. I was like, I didn't even friggin' know. So I mean, for the people to come up, they got to say to us hello, you know, if you want to take a picture or whatever it is, just say hello. Guys, I'll always have time for you, and for that, it means a lot. And thank you so much for that, and all your support over the last 6 years especially is amazing. But going back to the hockey, the Giants won. It was a great night. And Saturday, no football. It was annoying we had no football, but we had a good night at hockey on Saturday night, and yeah, it was good fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And they are playing this Saturday night. I don't know why we're going to get back in time, because we're in Portadown this weekend. We're at Anna United Football Club. We did do a episode for the documentary series of the Irish League, or Life in the Irish League series, on Ribbon Football Ventures YouTube channel. The first episode actually came from Anna United, where we talked about the ground. We showed you around the club. We showed you everywhere. You know, George Best officially opened that ground and stuff like that. You know, all the different details we do over it. We research the ground, we research the club. We tell you a history to it. We walk you around the ground. We show you it. You know, like a wee documentary series. We were supposed to release 2 last week, but we haven't released them yet. One coming up from Knockbreda Football Club, which is up in Belfast, and also one from Loughgall, where we were 2 weeks ago. So, but yeah, it was weird not having football on Saturday, but the rest of the weekend it was kind of boring, wasn't it? Really, like, you know, it's strange. Mum and Dad's off on their travels this week, so they are. Didn't see Mum and Dad there for quite a bit. I was around seeing them there yesterday. They're doing well. A lot of you have been asking me why my Mum and Dad haven't been in the vlogs recently, especially Dad. Dad had the cold as well about a week or 2 ago. He wasn't too well. But Mum and Dad are on their travels this week. They're actually away to Blackpool. So they are. They're heading to Blackpool of all places. Their heading will be released. Will actually be in Blackpool today as this is released. They left this morning. So they're heading to Blackpool till Friday. So they're away to let their hair down. No pun intended to Dad, considering he hasn't got a hair on his head. But anyway, yeah, they're off to Blackpool for a few days to switch off and get away from everybody and have a bit of time there. And I hope they're having a great time over there, because, you know, they haven't been to Blackpool for a long time. I actually offered them to come with us last summer. I said to them, you know, because obviously our plans had changed from our holiday last year. In the summer there was supposed to be 5 of us going to Blackpool. I talked about it obviously on the channel and talked about it on the podcast before, where obviously myself and Sandra had obviously broken up at the time, and she was supposed to come with us with her daughter, and it didn't happen. So there was 2 spaces available for the house, and you know, there was a room still available with a double bed and stuff in it. And I said to Mum and Dad, you know, you can book a cheap flight and you can come if you want. And they never came. So I did say to them, you know, you want to come, you're more welcome to come to Blackpool with us, and, you know, we can go and see a show, and, you know, we can do something, we can go out for dinners, and you and Dad can go and have your day away or whatever, and I'll take the kids to the pleasure beach, we'll have nights out, and, you know, do different things like that, and they didn't go. So maybe next year we'll take them. I'll be actually quite, I think it'll be a really good holiday. Mum and Dad, myself, Brooke and Lewis, I think it'll be a good crack. But yeah, they're away on holiday at the minute for a couple of days, so I hope they're having a great time. And, you know, it's good to see them getting away more to different places. They haven't been to Blackpool for years and years and years. So I actually was talking to Dad not that long ago about the photograph that after my grandmother passed away last October, there was a photograph that emerged. I think I've put it on my Instagram, I think, maybe. I'm not honestly sure. There was a photograph emerged from 1988. Now I want to do something where we're going to try and create something, whether it be a photograph or like the way you can do these things where you show a photograph from then and then obviously now. I've done it before whenever my friend passed away when he passed away last year. I found out where you can do a thing where there's a picture of myself and my grandfather who passed away in 1999 with him sitting on the pier in Blackpool, where I'd love to find out what pier it was on, where exactly is that seat. So I'd love to go back and sort of show me sitting there now, because when I'm in that photograph I'm like 7 years of age, and I'd love to go back and sort of like do a thing where you see myself and obviously on the seat now. I'm trying to figure out from the picture what pier it was taken on and whereabouts it was taken, so we'll try and figure that out. Because what I was going to do even last year was going to go up to all the piers and say, do you know whereabouts in the pier, what pier this was taken on, and try and figure out where exactly it was taken, because it's a great picture. My aunt, who's my dad's sister, sort of passed it on to me, and I'd love to sort of do something with that picture, obviously with me then, and obviously now, and then my grandfather's not here anymore, but just a wee thing I'd like to do. I did do a thing for my dad there a couple of months ago, just not long after. Or was it not long after? It was about 3 or 4 months ago. I got a photograph of my grandmother standing on one of the piers in Blackpool, and obviously she passed away in October there, and I managed to get a thing done where it recreated the image, but it looked like an artwork of the actual picture, if you know what I'm saying. So it looked like, but it looks so real and detailed. It actually, hit Dad pretty bad. Dad started crying, as her mum said, because I was on the phone with him whenever he first looked at it, and it's really scary how well it came out. And from the original photograph and like an artwork, it just looks so real. But yeah, because Granny and Grandy used to go to Blackpool all the time. They used to go every year religiously, and I remember going with them in 1988. And when we came back in 1988, Mum was pregnant with Tony. So yeah, Tony is a Blackpool baby. So that was always a memory. But yeah, I hope they're having a great time at Blackpool. And yeah, we'll hear all about it on Friday when they come back. And I'll talk about it, probably tell you how their stories went next week on the podcast. So yeah, they're away to Blackpool, lucky sods. And I'm sitting here in Northern Ireland in the freezing cold. But in saying that there, next week I'm on my travels again. I'm away to, you're probably going to guess where I'm away to next week. I'm away to Liverpool next week again. I'm heading to the Liverpool versus Rangers UEFA Champions League game at Anfield. Now, a lot of yous out there have been torturing me, and I'm going to clear this little. I wanted to talk about this briefly today, because I've said this a million times before. As you all know, I go to a lot of Liverpool games, and people keep asking me all the time. Excuse me. See, yours the throat starting. I may have to pause this in a second to get a bottle of water. A lot of you keep asking me all the time, can you get me tickets, Matthew? Can you get me tickets, Matthew? Can you get me tickets, Matthew? How do you get your tickets? Who do you use for your tickets? Guys, it's hard enough to get tickets for yourself, never mind having to get tickets for our people. Now, you may think I sound a bit selfish here, but at the end of the day, my main priority for getting tickets is me and Lewis and Dad and obviously our family. Now, if I ever hear of any spare tickets going and people I know want to get rid of tickets, then that's a different story. But people ask me all the time, can you get me tickets? Can you get me tickets? Please get me tickets. Please. And I'm like, guys, become a member of the club. Even that's another option for getting tickets. Or join a supporters club or something like that. Because once you start getting tickets for one person, then you have to get tickets for everyone. And it's hard enough getting tickets for yourself than getting tickets for everybody else. So I just thought I'd clear that up. Because at the end of the day, when you start getting tickets for one person, then they go, oh, Matthew gets tickets, he'll get you tickets, no problem. And then everybody starts coming to you. And then you get tortured. And I'm like, no. So that's pretty much it, guys. Because at the end of the day, it's hard enough to get tickets. And a lot of you have been asking me over the last, when the draw was done, can you get me tickets for the Liverpool Rangers game? I'm sorry, it was difficult enough to get tickets for myself, never mind getting tickets for anybody else. And it's not me being like nasty, it's just me being honest, because I only managed to get one ticket. Lewis is not coming with me. I'm going over my own, and I'm on my travels next week, so I'll be there from. Now here's the thing, I know a lot of people out there who watch my vlogs and watch my Liverpool videos from Liverpool. So if you're in Liverpool next week from Monday to Wednesday, I'm there. Drop me a DM or whatever. You want to come and say hello, I will be there in Liverpool next week. I'm staying there for 2 days. Brooke and Liz are staying at home here in the house with Mum and Dad and Tony. So they'll be here in the house with Emmons, and I'll be away for 2 days. So I'm looking forward to getting away to Liverpool once again to see the Mighty Reds. I haven't been over since the Crystal Palace game. Was it the Crystal Palace game? I think it was, yeah, the Crystal Palace game. Heading back over. So I'm looking forward to getting over it. Now, here's the thing, guys. When I arrive there on the Monday, I'm obviously going to start, because I've been looking around the city, of what's on the city, what's going to happen in the city, X, Y, and Z. So I think I'm going to sort of do a couple of wee different vlogs this time and try and find different wee things to do. For the Monday when I get there Monday morning. Tuesday, obviously Tuesday day, I'll be knocking about the town. I'm going to try and do a different type of vlog this time for the Liverpool Rangers game. I'm going to try and see the fans, talk to the fans, maybe try and get a couple of them in the on the YouTube channel, or maybe even do a wee interview for the podcast. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try to do something different this time, but I'm looking forward to getting back over to Liverpool again and get my head. Now we are going away in November again for the Liverpool Derby County game in the Carabao Cup. Now Lewis and I are both heading to that game, so that'll be another trip which we're looking forward to. And then we're hoping to get away to another game in December. So I'm on my travels next week again. I'm looking forward to getting away again. And I did say to Burger and Lewis, maybe shortly after Christmas, maybe, but even heading into the new year, I'm going to take the two kids back to Bristol, because there's more Bristol I want to see. And obviously Brooke hasn't been there. And then me and Brooke were talking about doing a wee trip as well, away somewhere, whether it be local here or over in England or whatever. I was for going away in obviously this month to Greece. I had Greece booked to go away for 4 days, I think it was, or 5 days. 5 days, and I had booked for the second week of this month. Had to get it all cancelled. It was a trip planned for myself and Sandra, but unfortunately, obviously we're not together anymore, so I had to cancel that trip. That was all booked and ready to go, which I was looking forward to getting there. But I will get back to Greece one day, and if I have to go myself, I'll go to Greece. Anybody there who's been to Greece, let me know what you think about it. Is it Santorini or something it's called? If you've ever been to Greece, please let me know what you think of it. I would love to get to Greece someday, because Greece just looks a beautiful, beautiful country. A lot of Northern Ireland fans over in Greece at the minute, actually. They were over for the Northern Ireland Greece game. Lucky sods. But anyway, yes, guys, I'm on my travels quite a bit. I've got a couple of trips coming up soon as well. Obviously, long distance trips in football as well. So I'm on the road pretty much a lot. So I am. So there's a lot of traveling coming up over here for the next few weeks, and something I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting away and doing different things, and and then we were talking about this in last week's podcast. I was just popped into my head there. I was over at the famous store that we were talking about last Tuesday, the B&M's, and I was in that Christmas section today, just looking at it. I should have filmed the reaction and put it on my YouTube channel. I was just standing there, and I was like, why, for the love of God, it's not even Halloween yet, and you're putting your Christmas stuff out, and this person was standing in the eye with her husband, and she was like, I'm so excited, I wish Christmas was tomorrow. And I'm like, it's not even Halloween yet. And her husband just looked so squandered. He just stood there and he looked around and he was kind of like, this is really embarrassing, I just want to go home. And she was up and down the aisle like a little child. Oh, I don't know. And I was told the other day it was like 90 days to Christmas and blah blah blah. I'm like, yay, Christmas time, wonderful. And my two kids were talking about the other day as well, Christmas. I was like, guys, you realise when you get older now, you get less when you get older. Why is that? Maybe because that's what happens when you get older. You know what I mean? It's mental. Christmas, it's not even Halloween yet, they're talking about Christmas. Unreal. Anyway, another thing as well I got to do this week, which I'm not looking forward to, which will be this morning. This is obviously on Tuesday. This is recorded on a Monday night. I'm going to the dentist tomorrow, which is officially now today as you're listening to this podcast. Oh, back to the dentist, which is not a thing I'm looking forward to. I hate the friggin' dentist. It's not the fact that they're taking your teeth out or they're fixing your teeth or whatever. It's the needles. And you know what I don't like about the needles? This is the thing I don't like about the needles. Now, when I was younger, needles didn't bother me. Never fizzed on me. I had injections. I've had, the time I fell and split my knee open. I had, and obviously the froze your leg to get the stitches in. I've split my head open, all these different things that I've done over the years, until one time where I wasn't feeling overly great one time, and I was actually scared for my life because I was getting chest pains and I wasn't feeling great. This was about, what, over 10 years ago, maybe more. And Dad said, right, I'm taking you to the hospital. So I'm sitting in this wee cubicle at the Ulster Hospital in Dundonald, just outside Belfast. I'm sitting there, and this guy comes in and goes, yes, Mr. Moore, we're going to take some blood and run some tests. And I'm like, yeah, cool, no problem. Come on ahead, doesn't bother me. Oh, I've got this student doctor here who's going to take your blood. And I went, yeah, sure, no problem. He's obviously learned on the job. He's a student doctor. Is you okay with that? And I was like, yeah, bring him in. So obviously I put my left arm down. He put the wee strap on. He was trying to get a vein. And sorry, he started with the right arm. He started with the right arm, and he was trying to get a vein and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there going, okay, right. And I can't get a vein, sir. I was like, okay. The other arm? And he goes, yeah, I'll do the other arm here. And he takes the wee thing off and puts it on the other arm. And I'm sitting there, and it's like, right, okay. Puts it in. And within about 30 seconds, if that, within him putting the needle in my arm, I was out of the chair, had him by the tie, up against the wall, in agony, screaming at him, what the F are you doing? He missed the vein and must have hit a nerve or something in my arm, and the pain that I felt was unreal. And my automatic reaction was to jump out of the chair and grab him and pin him against the wall, man. What the I felt bad doing it, but again, it was just the ultimate pain, whatever it was. He hit my arm, and the needle was still hanging on my arm, and I pulled it out and I threw it at him, and I says, there you go, there's your effing needle, get out of here now. I don't know what else I called him, but I felt so bad, and I sat down, and my arm felt like pure agony and shock. It was like electricity through my arm, and this doctor ran and says, you okay? I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know what the hell he hit my arm, but he didn't hit a vein. That's effing agony, isn't it? And then it took about 30 seconds to a minute to come to around to my senses and thought, and I calmed down and went, right, okay. So I apologised, and I said, could you bring the wee guy back in again? God love the poor guy. He was probably only about 20 something, whatever it was. And I apologised to him and says, listen, I didn't mean to shout at you. I didn't mean to grab you by the tie. It was just an initial reaction. So ever since that day, when it came to needles, I've never liked them. Now, in saying that, when I was getting my COVID jab, I didn't feel it because it was at the top of my arm. It didn't even look. But giving blood, or I mentioned this on my YouTube channel. At the present moment, I'm going through some testosterone treatment, and obviously I started noticing the difference whenever, like, I was losing patches of my hair and patches of my beard, and I was always tired, and just all wee things were obviously different than normal. And I went to the doctor, and they wanted to take blood a lot. So while I was giving blood, it was kind of like, oh God, here we go again. At one point, I remember one time this wee Scottish woman at the local doctor surgery was giving me a needle, and she was like, "Don't worry, laddie, you'll be all right, laddie. Come on, sit down." She put the needle in. Oh my God! I actually grabbed the arm of the chair so tiny, I broke the arm of the chair. That didn't hurt or nothing. Like, it was just because of the fear of that time with that needle with that young lad. You know what I mean? And I give blood so many times over that last period of time to get the results in for, obviously, my testosterone was low, and I need to go for treatment and stuff like that. Which at the start was kind of embarrassing because I was thinking, oh God, testosterone, am I falling apart here or something? But it said it's common for guys, it happens all the time, and blah, 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 blah. And it was just weird whenever you wake up, guys, and you see, obviously you lose your hair. If you lose your hair when you get older, that's fine, your hair falls out and stuff, but it was the way it was coming out. And then I had still have, when my hair grows back, a big giant circle patch at the back of my head. It looks like it looks like I've got, it's a horrible thing to say, it looks like leukemia or something. Like my hair's falling out in big patches at the back of my head instead of the top of your head where your hair falls out. It's really, really weird. And that's why I get annoyed when some people say, oh yeah, I shave my head, always have, been bald and stuff like that. But even lately, where I'm out and about and you see trolls or whatever, and they shout things at you, it annoys me more now because I know that I'm going through treatment. It makes me feel like I'm an odd one, or it's hard to explain. It annoys me more because of what I'm going through at the minute with the treatment and stuff. And when people start saying things like that to you, it really annoys me. Not all the time, but sometimes it sort of triggers you because I just feel like it's hard to explain, but you know what I'm talking about. But no, needles at that giving blood quite a lot for that there was really annoying. But yeah, giving needles is a nightmare. But come back to the start of this story from the dentist. I have to go to the dentist for a couple of wee things I need to get fixed in the bottom of my teeth because I'm getting some of my teeth that was knocked out through my wrestling days, working in care home days. I'm sure you've probably seen me on my vlog sometimes when I smile, you see I have a bit of a gap on my left and right hand side. I had 2 teeth knocked out during a wrestling match. Thanks to my friend Chris for that. I'd love to get him on my podcast sometime. I really would. He only actually lives up the street. We could sit and talk about some stories we've had over the day. We'll talk about how to get him on the Unleashed one where we could actually be ourselves. Some drunken night stories I could tell you about that. But anyway, yes. I've had ones knocked out when I was working in care homes, like residents. I've always been attacked by residents. I've had teeth knocked out there and things like that. So that's why you see when I smile, you see 2 of my teeth at the side are sort of missing because I've had 2 knocked out, and then obviously 1 knocked out by an old lady. I know it's a long story for another day. God love her. She was such a lovely wee lady too, but bless her, wee mind started to go. But then I ended up losing my teeth out of it. But anyway, yes, I'm starting to get those fixed and get those replaced. So I gotta go to the dentist and get the preparation work done for that. So by the time this podcast is out, I'm probably walking around tomorrow going for the first couple of hours. Hopefully then it'll wear off by the time tomorrow night comes. Well, tonight comes around whenever you listen to this, where I'm actually up speaking to the new welders manager. So fingers crossed, I will not be walking up going, so boss, how's the food? He'll be looking at me going, what was that first question? We shall see how it goes. But the dentist, I hate the dentist. I detest the dentist. His assistant's a nice person, though. I talk to her quite a bit, and she's a lovely person. She talks about and stuff about everything because she watches our videos. And talking about her all the time. Oh, see, we're away at Liverpool again, or see, we're doing this and that. Oh, that's lovely. And then my dentist is quite posh, and he's kind of like, so here's the thing. How are you today? And I'm just like, I'm alright, how are you? He's very posh. So he is. And then there's one time he left the room and his wee assistant looked at me and went, he's hard to deal with sometimes. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yep, but I get on with it. I was like, I couldn't work with him. He's just got one of those dry personalities, guys. Nice guy, but he's just got a very dry personality. Here's hoping he's not listening to my podcast and he hurts me in deliberate badness. I'm only kidding. But anyway, yes, that's me at the dentist, so I'm not looking forward to that. But anyway, yes, I want to go now here for just a wee quick second here, and before I get on to the questions. Once again, guys, if you want to contact us here on the show, don't forget to check out the email, which is moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com, moorarmy.co.uk for all your social stuff related to our YouTube channels. Get your merch on there as well, guys. Really want to appreciate it if you can support us by buying some merch. We're still trying to get a sponsor for the podcast as well, but we're hopefully getting that sorted out soon. So fingers crossed. Yeah. So here we go. Let's get into your questions, guys. I've got my other work phone, I like to call it, sitting here beside me with all the emails and all the questions on the likes of Instagram and where else have we got here? I'm not on Twitter. Wouldn't go on Twitter. Twitter's full of mad ones. Let's go to the emails first of all. Right, we've got a first one here from, let's have a look here. There's quite a few here. Right, there's one here, a guy called Stuart from Carlisle in England. Oh, Carlisle. Hello, Carlisle. Never been to Carlisle. Must have a wee look over there sometime. I can't remember. I guess that's central England. I'm not honestly sure. He wants to know, love the new podcast. Keep up the good work. Love the Unleashed podcast from last week. I'm looking forward to your show next week where you talk about where you grew up, as I've always wanted to know more about Northern Ireland. I've always wanted to visit your country to find out the history of all the things that went on during the Troubles. Okay, fair enough. And more. Also check out Belfast as a whole, especially the nightlife, as myself and my brother would like to come over sometime. And if we are in town, we would like to have a beer with you and Tony. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your email. Yeah. Well, I'll be talking about more things like that on the podcast this Thursday. We'll be talking about where I grew up in Belfast and stuff. So, yeah. Carlisle, I've never been there. Whereabouts in England is that? Is that in the centre of England? I'm not honestly sure. But thanks for your email. I appreciate it. Yeah, listeners from Carlisle. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Right, let's have another one here from a girl called Denise, who writes into us on the email, mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Says, sorry at the Belfast Giants games quite a bit. My two sons love you to pieces, but haven't got the nerve to come and say hello to you. Can you please give them a shout out? Certainly. Hello. Their name is Declan and Kieran. So they love you very much. They love to meet you and Lewis in person, but they're very, very nervous. Hello, boys. How are you? At the Giants game, come and say hello to me. We'll get a photo. We'll sit and talk. We'll chat. We'll talk about hockey. We'll talk about whatever you want. Come and say hello to us. Appreciate it. Come on up and say hello. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. So I don't. Lewis might annoy you, like, but that's just him. He's just a grumpy teenager. Oh dear. Let's go to the Instagram. Let's have a look through my Instagram here. I actually left my Instagram closed. I should have opened it up before I switched record on here. Let's have a look here and see. Right, we've got one here. Let's have a look. Gee whiz, there's quite a few. Whew. Right, one here from Paul from Derry. Okay, Paul, how are you? When are you back at the Brandywell again? Want to see you at the Brandywell very, very soon, as I'm a big Derry City fan. Come on down and watch Derry City play sometime soon. Hope to see you down there. All the best. Take care. Okay. We were going to go to the Brandywell last Saturday morning with the under-20s team, or under-21s as they're called now, but there was no room in the bus, so we couldn't go. Our 20s team were playing there against Institute, but we are down there soon for the Institute game, away from home. I don't know exactly when it is, so if you're down in that area, we'll obviously be mentioning it closer to the time, so if you want to come down and say hello to us, certainly. I've seen a lot of videos from those games, Derry City games at the Brandywell, because there's a guy who I've came across here locally on YouTube who goes to Korean games. He goes to quite a few Derry City games, and one of the boys from our football club goes to Derry City games as well. He says the atmosphere is electric, so yeah, wouldn't mind going to that sometime actually. Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it, I'll be there certainly. Okay, this one's from Callum. Says, are you and Lewis getting the new FIFA 23 game coming up in the next week or so? If so, we want to play you in our game. Join our Ultimate Team. Okay, I was going to mention getting FIFA 23. Yes, we are getting FIFA 23. It's actually out today, well, Tuesday as it's recorded. If you order Ultimate Team, we're ordering the Standard Edition. I don't play Ultimate Team. Lewis does occasionally. I don't personally. We're going to be getting it on Friday. Is it Friday? Is it the 30th? Is it the 30th? I think Friday is. Friday is the 30th. So yes, we are getting FIFA. Drop me a mail. Let me know what your gamer tag is, and we'll certainly hook up for a game, and I'll jump into one of your teams and we'll play online team player, whatever you want to do. Drop me a mail on Instagram and we'll certainly drop on there and we'll see what we can do for you. Not a problem at all. I do appreciate it. Right, let's have a look here. I should have done. I should open the Facebook one as well. I don't think there's very many in the Facebook, to be honest with you. I don't think there is. I should have actually printed these off and put them in front of me here on my table. I'm sitting recording the podcast on. Honest to God, I'm an absolute nightmare. Here we are here. Here's one here from Barry on Instagram. Barry wants to know, are you ever coming to London sometime soon? I always hear about you talking about London, and I saw you doing your recent video with Rick Mell and Adrian Edmondson. As you all know, they done a show in London many years ago, and also Rick's bench, Memorial Bench, is in London as well. Will you ever come to visit London? I know you've said before in your YouTube channel that you have travelled to London before, only through the airport. Would you ever come to London to visit, especially see all the sights, as in Buckingham Palace, what else does he say here? I can't even remember. He's misspelled the word here. London Eye and more. Okay, well, to answer your question, yes, we were due to go to London for New Year's Eve. Hang on, I need a glass of water in here. We were supposed to go there in 2019, going into 20. Was it that one? I think it was. We booked an apartment, but then at the last minute we cancelled, and then COVID hit. We were going to go the following year, and then COVID hit, so we couldn't go. I've always wanted to go to London for two reasons. Well, for a few reasons, but two main reasons for me that are near and dear to my heart. Number one, I want to go and see Freddie Mercury's house. Simple as, because Brooke and I are big Freddie Mercury fans. We want to go and see Freddie's house, and I want to go and see Rick Mell's bench, where the famous starting scene of the programme Bottom was filmed, where Eddie and Richie are sitting on the bench and Eddie's smacking him around the head with a paper and Rick Mell punches him between the legs and they start fighting each other and all. That famous bench is there, and there's a bench, I think it's the same bench, has a plaque on it, obviously dedicated to him because he passed away in 2014. And yes, I did do a video there recently, guys. You haven't saw on the channel. It dropped it a few days ago, where I recorded it in Bristol a few weeks ago, where I done a tribute to one of the live shows where I was outside the Bristol Hippodrome Theatre. So if you want to go check out that video, you certainly can. But to answer your question, yes, certainly I will be going to London. I've always wanted to go to London. I've been in the airports in London, like flying like connecting flights from like Belfast to London, and then London to when I went to America a lot of years ago, the likes of Chicago and Florida and Detroit and New York and things like that, places I've been to over the last lot of years. So yeah, to answer your question again, yes, I will certainly be going back to London. It doesn't even say where on your email, or it doesn't even say in your message here whereabouts you're from in London. So that wasn't our message. And you know, if I'm ever in London and you're about the same area, so I'm sure we're gonna hook up for a coffee or something. So yeah, thanks for your message. I appreciate it. Right, I want to answer one more before I go. Just taking through here. There's a lot of them here. They're should only be suitable for the Unleashed podcast on Thursday. Some bad language. Christine wants to know, Matthew, what is your favourite movie or movie series or movies of all time? Okay, right. Well, it's a hard one to call, because there's quite a lot of movies on there, but ones I always sort of go back to every so often, once every couple of years. The Lethal Weapon movies. I absolutely love the Lethal Weapon movies. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Brilliant movies. Absolutely love them. Now, I heard back in 2019, early 2020, before COVID came along, that apparently they were going to do a 5th one. And then obviously all film productions had stopped for a while and things like that. I heard a few different plot storyline scenarios where it was going to be where those two were one was retired, one was coming towards retirement, and they had obviously new officers in the place, and you know, they come out of retirement or something to help out for a certain case or something like that, or something along the lines of that. I know they've done a TV series on it, which I watched a few episodes of, which I actually go back and watch. But those movies are fantastic. I also love the Beverly Hill Cop movies, which are coming back. There's another one coming up back for Netflix. Eddie Murphy. Oh, love that guy. He's so funny. There's just a lot of movies out there. You know, I love the Lethal Weapon movies so much. You know, it's just those movies you go back and watch over and over again. People have asked me before about what's my favourite TV shows as well. Obviously, I've got a list of TV shows that I love watching all the time. But I just love the Lethal Weapon movies. There's funny wee skits in it, and then there's the seriousness, and the story of the films are fantastic, and you know, it's just a great movie, and I really, really do enjoy them. So thanks for your question, I appreciate it. But yes, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up this podcast for now anyway, for the time being. It's going to be a pretty busy week for me. Obviously, tonight, as you listen to this podcast, which is Tuesday or whenever you listen to it, I'm going to meet this new manager tomorrow night, which I'm looking forward to meeting. If you want to watch my interview with him, it'll be on Welders TV on YouTube, on their social media platforms as well. You want to watch me interviewing the new manager, which is going to be great, because I've got a lot of questions I want to ask him personally about what he's going to do, the ideas he has for the club and stuff like that. They're coming in as the new manager. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll get to see Mum and Dad come back from their holiday this week as well. But there's so much on this week, guys. It's hard to keep up with everything going on. Don't forget, the Unleashed podcast this Thursday is going to be more. Here's the thing. I was asked this question the other day by a person who I met at the hockey the other night. They were saying, you know, you're not going to find it difficult to do both a non-family friendly and a family friendly one. It's like, yeah, I kind of do. Because on the non-family friendly one, I feel like I can say whatever I want, and because there's times where I'm talking on this one where I have to try and stop and go, oh, but don't forget this Thursday, guys. It's going to be an interesting one, because I got some really good stories I want to tell you about growing up in Belfast during the Troubles, and during my experiences growing up in the 90s and growing up in the early 2000s. You know, I want to pretty much tell you stories that I haven't even told you before on the YouTube channel, and more. So I obviously want to be answering more of your explicit questions, because a lot of you have been sending me explicit questions with bad language in it as well. But I do want to say thank you once again for all the feedback from last week's podcasts. The numbers, I was checking the numbers today, the listens, and they're actually very, very good. So thank you very much for all your support. I do appreciate it. Kind of wish I had Lewis or something on here tonight. We could have talked about the new FIFA game coming out and stuff, and because he's going to be doing more videos on his channel this week with the new FIFA game. He's done one there for the new Fortnite. Was it new season in Fortnite or something? Guys, check him out on YouTube. Lewis Murray, Luis for Lewis Moore on YouTube, and follow his channel. We were trying to talk to Berg again after last week's podcast about bringing back our channel, but just no interest in doing it. Absolutely no interest at all, which is disappointing, because I like to see Herbie channel, because she was nearly at 1,000 subscribers at one point, and she was doing really, really well, and then all of a sudden she fell away and she just lost interest, which was kind of disappointing, because some of her little videos were actually quite good, and she was getting better at it. So fair play to her. But anyway, guys, I want to go here now and wrap this up for an hour, because I'm almost in the hour here talking to you. So I hope you enjoyed some of the stories. This Thursday's podcast will be a bit more entertaining, believe me. Stick around for it. Trust me, it'll be more entertaining on Thursday. I'll have a lot of stories to talk about my week and stuff like that, because I want to talk about a few things that are been bugging me as well over the last few weeks as well. So stay tuned for that there. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go here. So once again, don't forget to check out moorarmy.co.uk for all your merchandise, vlogs. That's pretty much the Moor Army hub, moorarmy.co.uk. Get in contact with us at the email. Drop us an email if you want to get a question answered or anything like that there. At moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, you can check out all our social media feeds, Instagram, official Matthew Moore, and all the other ones there, Moor Army Facebook page, and more. So until Thursday, guys, hope you're having a good week. Mum, Dad, if you're listening, I hope you're having a great time in Blackpool, you lucky sods. Stay off them donkeys. Riding them donkeys on that beach. And Mum, stay off the Guinness. I'm joking. Have a good time. Both of you, hope you're having a great time over there. Until the next one, guys, I'll see you back on Thursday for the Unleashed version, where I will sound more awake, because I'm recording this quite late at night, and I will give you more juicy stories and more gossip here on the Moor Army podcast. So until Thursday, guys, I'll see you all then. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Love all your support. Till Thursday. See you all then.